Did he get you some Masters gear?
I just want you guys to talk about me the way you talk about Mike Florio.
Well, we will, because we just had Mike Florio on, and we love Flemming, and I love being at the game Friday night. Seeing the crowd wish Dave Flemming a happy birthday.
That was cool.
Happy belated birthday, Flemming. It was good to see you there on the big screen until Aaron Judge hit those 2 bombs. I don't know if you gave him a standing ovation, but I damn near gave Aaron Judge a standing ovation, Flemming. Good morning to you down in Arizona.
He was something else, wasn't he? I mean, you hate to lose those games, and it's sort of sent the Giants into a bit of a tailspin here. But God dang, he is one heck of a player. And I look for Giants fans who don't get to see him in person. I saw him up close for the first time a couple of years ago, and you know he's big, but when you see him in person, it's just astonishing how big and strong he is. And there's never really been a player like him. And I guess I would have loved to have seen him in the black and orange. I guess it's good.
Oh, he'll be back.
What were you going to ask him?
His presence.
Well, that's what
stature.
That's where I was going to go.
The feeling that I got after that game, feeling like I just watched Barry Bonds.
Well, Tiger, when I went to the U.S. Open at Pebble and I saw Tiger, and again, this is after the accidents and stuff, but wow, right? When I see Steph Curry, LeBron James, when you're at these games, I seen Mahomes,
Giannis,
Joe Burrow came in. So it's funny because I had a Facebook memory the other day, game 1 of the finals in 2015, and my Facebook status was, I can't believe I'm sitting here watching Stephen Curry and the Warriors against LeBron James and the Cavaliers. And as we get Flem back, I was just going to ask you, and Chaska's going to ask the same thing.
Same question.
The stature. When I watched Aaron Judge take a step in that dugout, and he's waiting to get into the on-deck circle, I felt like I was watching the right-handed Barry Bonds. Walking out that stadium, I didn't care that the Giants lost, but I was like, boy, do we need a star in this market bad. I was so energized by not the first home run, but the second one, and just the presence that he had out there. I was like, wow, that's what we're missing out here in this market when it comes to the San Francisco Giants, Flem.
Well, look, I mean, do I agree with that? Yeah, I agree with that. But I also think, because I did think of Barry when I was watching him this weekend, and I thought, this is what those people thought about and felt like all those years having to face him. And we got to watch him and cheer for Barry and be thrilled by all the exploits. Imagine what it was like to be on the other side. And the only thing you need to imagine that is to watch Judge this weekend. If you made a mistake, he was going to pummel it. And I mean, that was Barry. And there are a lot of superstars. There are a lot of stars. There are a few superstars. There aren't many at that level. And that's the Aaron Judge level right now. He is doing what Barry did for those years in a Giants uniform. It's that impressive.
I mean, it really is. And I was telling Blonte, it's like, when you're standing on the mound, it's like, all right, we got Volpe coming up, and you're the pitcher, and then you look over, it's like, wow, Juan Soto's in the batter's box. In the on deck circle, and then Judge is on the steps, and then here comes Soto. Oh my gosh, there's Judge in the on deck circle, and then there's Stanton on the steps. That team just has an aura. I want to get to the kid though. Last night, Kyle Harrison. I like Kyle Harrison a lot. He's just really raw, and he's really young, and he's got a long way to go. I really like him. I'm not saying we got to run him out of town. I'm not saying he's a lost. None of those things. I really like him. I thought yesterday was a step in the right direction, but the guys behind him have got to play some defense. And shortstop in particular, they squeezed the lemon on Brett Wisely. I feel like he's had a really good month here, but Flem, what is going on at shortstop defensively? This is the poor kid should have got out of that inning last night.
He should have. He did not get much support yesterday. I mean, there was one error charge. There should have been 2. There could have been 3. And then there was even another play that could have been made that wasn't. So that's four plays at one position that could have been made that would have obviously changed the outcome for Kyle. It's hard when you're throwing young guys in spots where, I'm not saying Casey can't be a shortstop. He absolutely can. He played well on this last homestand at shortstop, but there is a learning curve. And I remember a game, you guys probably remember this, Brandon Crawford was really young. It might have been his first year making the team out of spring training. And it could be that we started the season here. So we didn't ever go home, or we went home for the Bay Bridge and came right back, something like that. And he had a game here where he made a couple errors and maybe 3 or 4 other plays that could have been made. It was very similar to Casey's last night. And there is something about here. It's an extremely fast infield. It can get in your head a little bit. It happened even to Crawford, as great as he was. So you feel for a young guy when that happens. I think the other issue with Harrison, and Andy Baggerly wrote about this morning, and I don't know if somebody's telling this to Andy or if he's just sort of applying this based on what he's seeing, but I do think there is something to the fact that Harrison has changed his approach as a pitcher because the Giants are so shorthanded and they need him to go deeper in games. And it's making him more vulnerable. He's a strikeout guy. When he was in the minor leagues, he had the number one highest strikeout rate of any pitcher in the minor leagues. And that strikeout rate has come down. And I think in a way it's kind of been intentional by him because he's just desperate to be as efficient as he can, go deep into games. And that's been important for the Giants. Giants have to find a way. It's nobody's fault that everybody's getting hurt. It's nobody's fault that Snell keeps getting hurt, that Cobb can't get healthy, that Tristan Beck is hurt on a fluke thing, that Keaton Wynn is hurt again. There's nobody to blame for that, but they're in this cycle now where they cannot get a good streak going because their pitching is – the Giants are 26th in ERA in MLB. Like, they have way too many good pitchers to be 26th. And a big reason why they are is they're exposed, and Bob Melvin can't use the guys he wants to use day after day after day. And it's becoming, I think, very frustrating for everybody there that the circumstance has gotten to this point where we're basically back to 2 years ago where, it's bullpen games and figure it out games, and nobody wants to be there. That wasn't the game plan. The Giants tried to mitigate against that, and it's frustrating for everybody involved.
You're referencing the strikeout numbers in the minor leagues, and something that I've been watching, and I don't pretend to be, a pitcher. I'm not Dave Righetti, okay? But like I said to Bonte, like I could see some version of a Cliff Lee type of a player. Like that's who he should be emulating in Kyle Harrison. But like the 94 isn't necessarily, modern day baseball. Like 98 is power arm, like Rodon. I don't see the breaking ball stuff early in counts from Harrison to be able to really keep guys off that 94. Like, I don't know. He's just a tick off. And yesterday he was sharper. I don't know about being a strikeout guy with his repertoire currently.
Fair, but I will say the fastball for him plays up. His delivery, his arm angle, his spin, the way he throws that fastball, it's faster than the radar gun indicates. And so he gets swings and misses on that, even at 92, 93, 94. Now, 95, 96, 97, he's really going to get a bunch of swings and misses, and he has that in there. Look, he's a work in progress. He's 22. It's his first year. He got rushed through, he got drafted in the pandemic year, for God's sake. So, like so many of those players, development was interrupted early on, and it hasn't been a totally smooth path for him. I love the kid, and by no means should we be pointing the finger at him. Even if the results the last few, and I know you're not doing that, but the last few games haven't been quite as good for him, and he's wearing it. This is not on him. Kyle is doing his job, and I have all the faith in the world that long term he's going to be a huge part of this Giants team.
Dave Flemming here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game as the Giants get ready to play Arizona in the series finale. They got to win a game to prevent a sweep here. They've lost 7 straight down at Chase Field, which is unbelievable when they had all the dominance against Arizona in 2021. But it's a better ball club, no doubt about it. Bob Melvin, and you mentioned this. I keep referencing what you said a few weeks ago about Bob Melvin, how you didn't know how edgy he was, and he is edgy. And last night, boy, he was not happy whatsoever. And it's the bats. The bats. Lamont Wade Jr. has had a very impressive season. He goes down, and this offense just forgets how to score runs. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. 2 of 10 yesterday. Matt Chapman's given everything he had, but overall, this lineup is just not getting the job done. And you saw for Bo Bill last night, Flem. He was hot.
He was. They let that kid off the hook. The starter for the Diamondbacks, as opposed to all the good stuff we're saying about Kyle Harrison, that kid was not very good last night. And the fact that the Giants didn't pummel him out of the game cost him the game. Like, they should have been up big, and for whatever reason, the early innings, this offense just is not doing anything early in games. And so there's another reason why the pitching staff is off schedule, off kilter, because they're playing catch up so much. And it's just that's a hard way to exist, man. You have to find a way to score runs earlier in the game. I have sympathy for Tyro. Tyro's playing hurt. He wants to be in there. He might be the toughest guy on that team, but he misses 3 games. He comes back last night. that was the worst at bat he's maybe ever had in the first inning. He chased a pitch 1.5 feet outside that would have been ball 4. You got 2 on, nobody out to start the game. A kid who has got no idea where the ball's going, and you just bail him out. And there were too many of those last night. Casey Schmidt had an at bat where you got to find a way, bases loaded, to get the barrel of the bat on the ball. You got to find a way to put it in play, even if that's early in the count. Couldn't do it, struck out. Giants don't score. You have to be better than that. This is the big leagues. And if you want to snap out of a losing streak and stabilize and try to buy time, they are vulnerable right now. There's no doubt about that. Lamont Wade, they're missing Lamont Wade. Conforto's just back. His timing's off. Estrada misses time. Yastrzemski's been off kilter. All that stuff. They have to find a way to tread water here and hope that they can actually get healthier and be the team they know they can be. Last week when the three of us were talking, we saw how good this team can be. It is in there. They are not incapable. But far too often this year, they're falling into these funks where they're losing these games in a row and the pitching staff is beat up. And here we are again today. It's Jordan Hicks better go pitch pretty well because we don't know who's coming in after him.
Well, look, there's a lot of negative, and I get it. When you're in the middle of a 6-game losing streak, I understand it. There is a bright spot, and then there's probably a couple of them. Brett Wisely was playing really well. It's Elliot Ramos for me, though. I just think he's making the most of his opportunity right now. Clutch base hits, laying off, the at-bats look so much better. Laying off the junk in the dirt and working counts and then driving the ball, whether it's up the middle, a home run the other night. He made a play in right field. I didn't think he was a great defensive player. He made a play, a simple fly out in right field, pivoted, turned, and fired it back into the cutoff man, and I'm just this is a guy trying to make the most of his opportunity, and I don't want to see him get DFA'd. I think he's out of options, right? This is a guy I want to see the rest of the way, and I hope he continues to perform. What's your thoughts on Ramos?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I don't think there's any chance he's going anywhere. He's been the Giants' best player over the last couple weeks. He's all around, and it's all the stuff you're talking about. There's one last step for him to take because the guy has made so many improvements. He's gotten better on defense. He's not chasing the way he used to. Those at bats last night, man, he was laying off some tough, close pitches that were not strikes. Got on base 3 times in a row to start the game. He does still have to find a way. And look, we've seen him. He's got aptitude. He gets better. He improves. You tell him to work on something, he does it. That's a really good quality. You can't strike out 35% of the time and be a great player. You cannot. It is. I'll say impossible. Maybe it's not impossible. If you were hitting home runs at an Aaron Judge pace, maybe you can still be a good player striking out that much. Otherwise, you got to cut that down. Even if it's just, cut it down by 10%. You got to find a way to not be so vulnerable to the swing and miss. And so if he can do that, all the ability is there for him to be not just a regular, but a really good everyday player.
Going to see Bruce Bochy this weekend down in Texas. Hopefully they prevent a sweep and, you get these starters to get deeper and deeper into the game. We know Blake Snell's on the IL. Disappointment. He hasn't gone through 5 yet this season. But let's end on a positive note. Christian McCaffrey just signed a big-time deal yesterday. $19 million extension per season. $38 million in total. He's a Stanford guy. Flem, you're a big-time Stanford guy. I went to a lot of Stanford games. Shasky went to a lot of Stanford games. Did you know when you were watching him down in Stanford, or when he first arrived on campus, what was the talk about Christian McCaffrey? Did people know that he would be this special? Because, boy, right now, on a slew of stars with the 49ers, Bosa, Trent Williams, Kittle, Debo, Purdy, this guy may be the best player of them all.
There are 3 players that I was around down there who the first day I saw them, the first 5 minutes I saw them, the first minute I saw them, I knew they were going to be great players. One was Andrew Luck. You watch Andrew Luck throw 2 balls, and it was okay, There's the guy. He's the guy. It literally took 30 seconds. The second guy was David DeCastro. You remember David DeCastro?
Steeler.
Yeah, he was a puppy. They threw him in the mix on the offensive line, and he just starts bullying people. It's okay, that kid was in high school 10 days ago, and he's mauling people here. And the third was Christian McCaffrey. The first time he touched the ball, it was nobody could find him, and he to me is one of the all time great college players at what he did, and he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame someday. And Kyle Shanahan's the perfect coach for him, and I can't wait to watch him for hopefully more than just a few more years because that guy he's awesome, and he's a tough dude, man. Yeah. For a kid his size, he's super strong, obviously, but he is not a big guy. For him to do what he does against those NFL big boys is amazing.
I mean, he should have won the Heisman Trophy. Remember the Pac-12 championship at Levi's Stadium where he had the 3 touchdowns against USC? Remember that? He had the great 3rd and 5 Texas route, punt return in that game. The Rose Bowl against Iowa, first play of the game, choice route over the middle, goes 75, 80 yards. I mean, this guy, he should have won the Heisman. And I'm so glad we have him here in the Bay Area, back in the Bay Area, playing running back for the 49ers. All right, Flem, have a good call today. Got to get a win. We did it for our soul. Shaz, get out. We're getting a little restless here. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. We tamed it down for you because we know you're a professional. But, boy, that Yankee series left a sour taste in our mouth because those showcase series, Flem, time and time again, and I know you just picked the Phillies, but they also got swept in Philadelphia. They're not showing up against the big boys. When you have this type of payroll, we want to see a little bit more. That's all it is, Flem. We just want to see a little bit more from this team and this organization.
I agree, and I thought they played fine against the Yankees. I mean, they should have won the Sunday game. Camilo Doval had his worst outing ever. I thought he was tipping his pitches. Then the Yankees knew what was coming, and they teed off on him. And so that cost you that game. The last 2 have been the real disappointments for me. So I'm with you. They got to win. I won't be in Dallas. So the Flemming girls, Lick Wilmerding graduation is this Saturday.
Congratulations.
Coming home for my oldest 2 are graduating high school this weekend. I'm very proud of them, and I'm going to be with them, and I'm going to miss my friend Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, you will. But I love Dave. I love Lick Wilmerding. Bay County League West, man. I covered that league in high school. I love that.
Smart man. You spaced it out so you're actually saving money this year when your son goes to high school. It's a joke.
I am. I get and then don't ask me where the girls are going. I ain't quitting anytime soon. Lord.
You'll be working college football, volleyball games, ESPN Plus, ESPN Ocho.
Let me know when you need a spotter. I'm there for you.
Think East and think a big dollar sign next to it. But I'm very, very proud of them, and
congratulations.
They've had a heck of a high school career, and I can't wait to watch them graduate.
There we go.
It's a great school. Lick Wilmerding knows how to send them to the best places in the world. No doubt about that. Flem, congratulations and happy belated birthday.
You guys, man. Bob Melvin said to me yesterday, "What are you, 12? Why does everybody keep wishing you a happy birthday?" I was like, you know what, Bob? That's fair. I don't know. I don't know why.
Bob Bell's on a heater. He needs to win more than us right now.
Yeah, he does. He does.
All right, man. Take care. Have a good
See you guys.
See ya.
All right, man. That's cool stuff, man. We can laugh a little bit.